The provincial NDP under fire tonight over their grant programs aimed at clean energy projects. All three opposition parties have come together demanding a probe into a so-called kickback scheme. The opposition targeting the accounting firm NDP, which the government hired to administer some of the grants programs, but at the same time facing allegations it demanded success fees as high as 20% to help firms win money. Now, one of those companies, Edison Motors, has gone viral with a TikTok video showing how after several failed attempts to receive grant money for their startup, building semi-electric trucks used for logging, the firm who administers the program reached out and stated if they want to get the grant, they need to go through them. There's a lot to unpack here, why this matters, who's to blame, and what happens next. And for that, we're going to bring in our provincial affairs reporter, Rob Shaw, who's been on this story from the beginning to help us guide through a bit of this. Rob, thanks for taking the time. Where are we at? I know this has kind of evolved over the last few days, especially with this video now going viral. Where are we at? What's your take on this so far?
Well, there's fuel underneath this fire that is burning this story a little bit hotter than we might otherwise expect, because the money that we're talking about here in clean grants comes from the carbon tax, which is perpetually in the news the last few weeks. Pierre Poilievre in town promising to axe the tax. This is money that's supposed to be going out the door in rebates, and it's become controversial. So that adds the fuel. You have all the opposition parties talking about it, as you mentioned off the top. They're all aligned in wanting a probe of this. And you have government really with no really good answers on why this particular thing is allowed, why they've contracted this company, why there are success fees, what's going on. And it creates this kind of atmosphere of conspiracy and an atmosphere of lack of transparency. Plus, the company involved, as you mentioned, has a huge social media following, and it has gone viral, their video on this, and all of that is adding up to quite a smoky situation for the government.
Rob, we'll get to the political fallout in just a second, if there is any, but talking about the brass tacks of this and how this may affect viewers and people at home, we are talking about millions of dollars in taxpayer money, are we not?
We are, and it's money earmarked to help really struggling industries like the forestry sector, for example. This is a company that's taking displaced foresters, creating a new hybrid kind of like truck company that is clean, it runs on electricity, and buying up unused sawmill properties to help expand its business and hire people who've lost their jobs in forestry. So it's millions of dollars earmarked for struggling industries to help them decarbonize, and it's not going out the door to BC companies the way that the government would like it to, or the way it looks like. So that's kind of a subtext, I think, that adds insult to injury when islanders are looking at how this program is being spent.
What's so interesting, too, the individual who went viral talking about basically showing the receipts of the email process that he went through to try and get this money, and that their company failed several times until the actual accounting firm then reached out and said, hey, if you give us 20% success fee, we will get you the grant, essentially. We haven't seen these firsthand, but based on his storyline, the individual, like you're pointing out, these aren't necessary. These are the people that, whether it's Justin Trudeau or whether the NDP government provincially, they're targeting these people, as you mentioned, in terms of saying, hey, we want to create a green economy. We want to be able to take the, I can't remember what Trudeau calls them, the overall wearing people. I think he's talking about the working class folks and people who are losing jobs in typical energy sectors, saying, hey, transform, come along with us. The green economy is going to work. And yet he failed, he said, on several attempts until just recently.
Yeah, this is exactly who the government is supposed to be helping, a homegrown company that is trying to do something new. This would be the first company in North America to do plug-in semi-electric trucks, so the big logging trucks. So they're innovating. They need money to expand, to start up. It's the whole point of a fund like this. And the fact that it's not going to those companies, that in fact, allegedly there are these 20% fees that the grant writing company wants to take from this company, is set up this kind of weird allegation that the fund is mismanaged, that it's the so-called kickback scheme, that there is allegations in the House of corruption here. And that's exactly what our Auditor General is supposed to do. Break open this thing, use his powers, get to the bottom of it. But a motion to have him investigate failed because the NDP blocked it on Thursday. So there aren't any answers to any of these questions floating around this weekend.
So tomorrow, Monday, what do you expect to happen here?
I expect the government is going to have to do some type of outside probe of this because it's just reached a critical mass. As you point out, the company has emails, receipts, videos. They've put those out, And the province really has no explanation other than, well, there's some grants here and other grants there, and they have different criteria. You're going to have to get an outside look at it, and that'll be uncomfortable for government because it's going to expose probably, oversights in a program that we would expect is better managed by the provincial government.
Really appreciate your insight. Thanks so much for taking the time tonight, Rob.
Take care.